Hey y'all, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bailey.
Welcome to Livin on a Prayer.
We're two best friends who are here to keep it real and relatable.
Through life's hills and valleys, we're here to remind you we're all just living on a prayer. Welcome back. Because this week, I'll tell y'all, we're living on a prayer.
I love
Bailey especially.
I love how you say that every time because it's like, it couldn't be more true. Like, it sounds like we're like, that's our like slogan, but it's like so true.
It is. We
living
are really
on a prayer.
Sometimes we're really having good days, and then all of a sudden we're just
It hits.
Yeah.
It hits. So I'm gonna be kind of vulnerable today.
Raw and real, baby.
Raw
Let's
and
go.
real. Probably gonna freaking cry again.
That's okay.
Like a big
Do
baby.
you need me to go get you some tissues?
No, I'll be fine, you know. Just
Use your
cry it
t-shirt.
out. Just cry it out. My God's plan t-shirt.
Really?
So we kind of want to just talk about burnout and stress, kind of related things today, just because I'm like kind of feeling that heavy on my heart and just
I
like
am the epitome of burnout.
yeah. We are
It might
both
as well
like,
be written on my forehead.
we are yes people,
Doers.
people pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main, like I feel like one of my main like goals each day is to like make everyone who I
Happy.
encounter happy.
Uh-huh.
And that's really heavy to carry because people are not always happy.
When you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and sometimes there are people that you will never
Make happy, you know? And like, so just a quick backstory, or if this is your first time hopping on here, I own a hair salon in Mandeville called The Beauty Bar. I have 11 employees, which brings in a lot of people into my daily routine. So clients and obviously my employees and all sorts of things. And there's, you know, as a business owner and as a leader, like one of my biggest things is I'm like striving to make every day perfect and make everyone happy.
A healthy environment for a lot of
people,
employees and clients.
And it's just not realistic, but I like cannot accept that. Like mentally, I am like, I can never let it go. Like it's so heavy to just carry every single day that like, okay, everyone, like I have to, like everything has to be perfect today and everyone has to be happy because there's going to be like the dryer's going to break. Like we're going to run out of something that I thought we were fully stocked on.
Right.
One of the girls is going to come in and having a bad day. And
or call you and say like, sorry, I can't come to work today. And then you have to
someone's
move
gonna
7
text
clients.
me and be sick. Someone's gonna like need something I can't give them that day. Like it's just part of it. And like anyone who owns a business can relate. Like I was literally talking to one of my friends yesterday who owns a business as well, and she's just like, how, like, when will it, like, is there ever a day that we're not gonna like have something? And
Probably
I'm like,
not.
no. And it's not, and like I was telling you the other day, I was like, I just want to put in my 2 weeks and quit. And like, I know I'm not a quitter, but like some days get so overwhelming and draining that I'm like, I am not made for it. Like, I cannot do this. Like, I physically cannot do this. And I think it's hard because like, when, like, for an example, like if one of my girls has to tell me something or they like have to take the day off because of something or whatever, to them coming to tell me, like to them, it's no big deal because they're just like, it's just me. I'm just going to tell you this. But they don't know that like 3 other people have also told me something.
You're carrying a lot more than just their burden
so, like,
of the day.
For me, I'm always trying to be like, they know it's like open door policy. Like I am not just like your boss. Like if you're going through something, I want to pray for you. I want to like know I'm your support. And I love that I have these relationships with my team, but it does kind of sometimes get like I have my things at home and then I now know everyone else's things. And I'm like, how can I fix like, how can I help everyone?
You're a fixer. You're a doer.
And
You want to make
possible.
it right.
Yes. It's not always possible. So for me, like I've been owning my business about 7 years now. And I think like over time, this like weight on my back has just gotten heavier and heavier. And it's fine, you know, like you just like work through it. But a few months ago, I lost one of my like key employees that did a lot of like backhand work for me. And I had to step into a whole new role, which blessing in disguise, like looking back, which we know God's plan is always greater. But looking back, like I was removed from a lot of things I shouldn't have been removed from. There was a lot of things that I did not have my hand in that my hands should have been in. And I just got content and kind of was like letting things flow. And getting back into the like grind of things, I'm like, oh gosh, this is wrong. This has to change. Like, I apologize to all my girls. I'm like,
sometimes
I'm sorry.
I think that's a little check though. Owning a business, like, okay, we've talked about this before, but owning a small business is not you know, you wanted to open a hair salon, right? You didn't want to open an inventory shop. You didn't want to be a people manager. You didn't want to be all of these things. And sometimes when we're so excited to open a business, like, we don't think about all of the things that go into it, right?
Right.
You are now a social media manager. You're an accountant. You are
a manager.
You're a maid. You are you are all these. Yes, you're a plumber. You're all these things, and you have to pour out so much of yourself for so many people.
Right.
And then you get to a point when you're owning a business that I say because I'm not even there yet, but like, you know, people I've heard speak and books I've read and podcasts I've listened to, like, you need to get to a point where you're working on your business, not in your business, right?
Yes.
So I think you really were starting to
get
you
there.
were getting there.
I was getting there, but I'll be 100% transparent. Like, I was getting there to where I didn't have to be behind the chair as much, but I wasn't doing...
You weren't present in your business?
I wasn't doing enough. Okay. No, I wasn't doing enough, like, behind the scenes.
Then maybe that was your little
check.
I
was keeping afloat, but I was not, like, doing as much as I should be. So it was absolutely, like... needed. Like, it was needed. And it was like, I got very, like, I have 3 children, so I was very much like, oh, I get to be present with them and still run the salon. But it was like, I definitely wasn't present enough. Yeah. So this has brought me, like, obviously to be more present on my days that I'm not behind the chair, but also doing a lot more behind the scenes that I was slowly, like, slacking on because someone else was kind of supposed to be handling that for me, you know? But so... to my point, when I lost this employee, I had to be more present and to be more present behind the scenes and more present physically. So it just changed a couple things that was like happening in my life. Like, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to work Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 6. I was like...
changes your home life,
too. Home life was different. And then...
and self-care.
Like, a week after I lost this employee, I lost my nanny. My nanny at home. So not only was I needed more at work, now I'm needed more at home. How do you be 2 places at once?
Yeah, and how
do you give
survive?
100 to 2 big things, like giving 100?
And if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of anyone else or anything else around you?
So at first it's like, all right, I got this. Like, my mom's like, I'm gonna help with whatever I can, but also, like, I hate asking my parents to help me. And they will do it. They will do it with tenfold. The biggest smile on their face. Yeah. But for me, it's just like, I want them to be grandparents. I don't want them to be childcare. Like, I've really
try to
worked
respect.
hard.
Well, you try to respect the fine line and the boundary because you want your parents to enjoy your kids.
And my kids are a lot. So, like, to watch them every single day, like, you can't, not that you resent them, but like on the weekends, you're like, we'll see you next week.
Well,
like,
on
you
the
want
weekends
space.
when you want to spend time with your parents, they're like,
probably like,
please don't come over again. I'm going to relax.
Not those 3 again.
Bailey, I would love to see you, but with you comes your kids.
So, you know, this all happened at the same time, and I was like, you know, no big deal. And, like, up until this point, like, things were going so smooth and great everywhere. Like, I was happy. I was literally, like, never anxious. I was like starting to be like, oh gosh, like life is good. And then these 2 major things happen, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine. I got this.
Reality check.
I can juggle this. And like weeks go by, and like slowly I'm like, oh my God, I'm dropping the ball here. I'm dropping the ball here. But I'm trying to like put on this like happy face, like, oh, I got this. I got this. Like, kids, I love you. Work, I love you. And all of a sudden, like over this last week, I am like,
well, because also let's throw in there, you moved.
Yes.
And your moving dates got changed.
Yes.
And everything that you had set up got moved around. And
it was like all of a sudden, like everything, like I just came crumbling down on me. And I was like, what do I do? Like, I'm literally like, I feel like I can't please anybody anymore. The littlest like text from someone like, hey, can you do this for me? Makes me like want to crumble, but like I'm that person for a lot of people. So I'm like, yeah, what can I do for you? Like it'll be there today. Or like, okay, let me pause this and do this and I'll do this. And like I was trying to explain to Aaron the other day, like how it feels inside of my head, and I literally can't explain it, but I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like I feel like
you feel like a bouncy ball. You feel like a bouncy ball. Like you're just going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and you are literally just getting
like,
bounced
as I
from
hop
one
into
place
each
to the
role,
next.
I'm like, put your happy face. Like I walk into work and I'm like, hi, oh my gosh, how's it going? And like inside, I'm like dying. Like I'm like, just keep swimming. It's like Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Like I'm
but
like,
you're also like, when you walk into your business, you have to. Yes, you have to be that face. And when you walk into home, you want it to be home, but you also have to be
mommy,
a wife,
yes.
and you have to be a mommy to not one but three.
Right.
And it's like when you walk into your business, you're probably thinking about the 17 other things
right.
you have to do at home for your move, and oh, your kid has to go to summer camp and you have to pack their bag and all of these things.
Right.
Oh wait, your mom can only watch your kids until 2:00. So you're at work and you're like, okay, yes, this has to happen. I have to order inventory. I have to
gotta
do
leave
this.
in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
I gotta get this for my mom. If my mom texts me one more time because she really has to be somewhere at this certain time, and then you start to spiral, and it's like you can't even be present where you need to be present.
Yeah.
Because you're always thinking about what's next. You're always thinking about what needs to be done. What can you do more of?
What should I be doing right now instead of what I'm doing right now? Like, you know, like it's like this never ending. Someone said it the other day, like, it was like a file cabinet in your head and every file's open at all times.
You know, somebody told me a couple years ago, you have too many tabs open. And I was like, wait, what? And it's like, okay, you know, when you're on your Safari.
Not me being like from the 1990s, like a file cabinet.
And I'm like,
you're like,
tabs
no,
on
baby,
the Safari.
we're
Open
on
your laptop.
Apple Mac computer.
Yes.
Okay, we're
open
not
up. But when you look at the top on your computer and you have your internet, you have your Safari, you have your Google Chrome, whatever open,
or like my
and your
phone right
tabs
now
are open
with like 1,000 things open.
Yes, but your tabs are open, and sometimes like when we're with people and they jump from subject to subject,
right.
Or like you're saying, you are somewhere but something else is open. It's like you're leaving it never ended. It's like you can never
finish,
close a tab before you open another one. And I always am like, wait, you just clicked another tab. You just opened something new.
It's so
but
true.
I agree.
And like I have ADHD. I do not take any medication for it because I like myself
if
how I am.
If you can't tell on this podcast, we have
super
ADHD.
Bouncy. She just called me a bouncy ball.
We never finish.
There's really nothing.
It takes us 20 to 40 minutes to finish one story.
Literally.
Before.
And it's like actually very crippling if you do have ADHD, you know. It is like when I'm at home trying to complete a task, like on my days that is like, okay, today you're going to do laundry, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Like nothing ever gets finished because I'll start the laundry. I'm like, oh my God, let me go do this. And like, it's never ending. Those thoughts like bouncing around and like adding in like life circumstances to that can be just like extremely crippling. And I think that's where a lot of like my anxiety stems from. Cause whenever, like you said, we're not closing these tabs off, you're like, it's just sitting there. Like I have to get to that, but like when or how, or like you finally start it. And then, but you're like, but there's something else across the room. It's like squirrel, like, you know? And so basically, I mean, what I'm getting to with this is, so we just moved, over the last week, and our closing date was supposed to be on a Friday, got moved to a Monday. And it's, first of all, Monday to move in like at the start of a week has just like thrown me off. Like I'm very routine to where I like on Mondays I do this to get my house ready and my groceries. And then the rest of the week I focus really hard on work. And then on Fridays I get back to doing some home stuff. And it's like our whole house is in boxes and I'm working like
double
my
time
big hours.
That you normally don't. Yeah.
And, you know,
no
Aaron's,
childcare.
bless his heart, is trying to do all these like big projects to like get things to feel good around the house, but like everything's in boxes. And last night I just like lost it. Like I literally like walked into my house and I'm like, okay, don't know where anything is. I have 3 kids.
Because right now you have a house, you have a shell. It's not a home yet.
Right.
You haven't unpacked all of your things. A lot of your things are new.
Yeah.
And like this is a place that is foreign to you and to your children.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like your kids are staying at a hotel.
That's how we feel. and my
You
kids are
haven't made memories
acting
there
like,
yet. This is not, you're not walking into your sanctuary and saying like, oh, I'm home.
Yes, that is exactly it. We are walking in and I'm like, where am I?
Where do I start?
Like, I don't even, like, it's so weird because, again, like, we talked about this, but, like, feeling that joy and sadness at the same time can be so, like weird feeling because you're like, someone asked me yesterday, how's the house? I'm like, I've never been so excited and so miserable at the same time in my life because I'm like, oh, I want to love this home. It's so beautiful. We're so blessed, but it's empty and it's foreign. And I'm like, if I'm feeling like this, how are my kids feeling? I'm snapping at my kids because I'm like, I can't find you. Hold on. Just give me a second. Give me a second to open a box. Like, I'm just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And last night I just was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I can't, like, people are texting me. I don't want to text.
You don't want to answer.
I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk on the phone. Aaron, like, asked me something, and I was so mean, and he's like, okay, great. And I was like, what? And he's like, great. That was great. And I was like, that was so mean. And I, like, yelled at my mom, and I, like, texted her last night. I'm like, I'm so sorry for being so ugly.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not
Well, and then you
me.
just feel guilty, too. And then, you know, you go back in your phone and you're like, wow, I feel guilty because you really needed me in this moment. But, like,
Right.
I couldn't give you that because there is nothing of me.
I
and
know.
I feel like I'm very similar. Like, again, I think burnout could be tattooed across my forehead.
Yeah.
I am the epitome of it. Anybody that knows me, you know that I will do and do and do and do and do and do and do
Until you
and do.
can't do.
And I'm like on a hamster wheel, and then all of a sudden my body will, like, I won't tell myself no, which I'm trying to be better at. I'm trying to time block. I'm trying to do all these new things, but, like, my body will shut down. Like, I'll either get really sick or I just
so tired.
My adrenaline will just crash.
Yep.
And then, like, I will become a shell of a human, and
Yes.
I will stay in bed for, like, a full day.
And we were literally talking about this the other day. It's like,
Because I did it last
when you don't
weekend.
give your body and yourself the break it needs, it will
does
do
it
it for you, and it's usually at a horrible time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the day you were supposed to do something big, or you were supposed to go on a trip or whatever. Your body's like, no, we're out of battery.
And that's really Jesus just telling you, like, slow down, be present, take a moment, and, like, again, you cannot be your best self for yourself, for anyone or anything around you if you don't take care of yourself.
Correct. So here's where, obviously, I'm going to be open and honest again. These past few weeks, like, I haven't even opened my Bible. Like, I haven't even hardly prayed. Like, when I fall asleep at night, I'm like, Jesus, thank you, love you, good night. Like, it has not been, I have not been intentional with my relationship. And it's like, how can I possibly think things are going to be good and dandy
shiny
when I'm not even speaking to the Lord? Like, I'm literally, like, allowing the enemy to just, like, stroll up and be like, hi, I'm moving in with you in your new house. And that, like, it, like, hit me yesterday. I, like, looked at my Bible, and I've been, like, we stayed with my mom for a couple days, brought it with me there, never opened it. We've moved in Monday. Today's Thursday. Haven't opened it. It's just been sitting there. And this happens to me when I stop reading it. I start looking at it, and it makes me more anxious because I feel
not reading it.
mad. I
You
feel like
feel
a
like a
failure.
failure.
In my mind, it's the enemy telling me, like, you're not good enough. You shouldn't even, like, you're not reading your Bible because you don't deserve, like, to have that. And, like, you're failing everywhere. You might as well just fail with your faith too. Like, it's like this heavy feeling. And I was so excited for today because I'm like, I have to read my Bible today.
I have to talk.
Like, I have
to dive deep in here.
I have to. Yeah. It's like, I can't do this without talking about faith and my relationship with God. And so this morning I opened my Bible and was like, this has to be talked about today, and, like, I have to get in the Word again. And instantly I felt, like, so much peace, and I was, like, literally on my knees, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Jesus. Like,
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Well, okay, think about if you, like, I guess we can relate this for your marriage and your kids. Like, what if you would have not taken care of them from Monday to Thursday?
Exactly.
And they just would have been sitting there, right? Like,
right.
You didn't feed that relationship.
Exactly.
You didn't, like,
and I,
clothe
like,
that relationship.
Like,
you didn't.
I've really, I just really haven't even fed into them enough this week. Like, nobody. I feel like it's just, like, I'm burnt out, you know? Like, I don't even have the energy to, like, be a good wife, be a good mom, be a good friend, like, be a good boss. Like, I am burnt out. And it's like, what do we do at the point of this? Like, where do we go from here? And I think there's obviously two very clear paths. There's like
Keep going down this one.
Of destruction, of like scary thoughts. Like, where does it go from here? Or it's like, get into the word, like get into your relationship with God and know, like,
and then create that routine, because that is going to help you and feed your soul, and and it's going to make everything a little bit clearer of no, this is what picture. I need you to do. This is who you are. Let me remind you who you are. Let me remind you of who I am,
who I created you to be, and like why you're here.
And you know, I'm just like going back a little bit to you saying you were having like those negative thoughts of like, I am not good enough. You're failing here. You might as well like fail.
Just fail. Just suck. You just suck. That's
okay, but let me just say,
freaking suck.
I'm gonna like stand up and be a little positive Polly for a second. Like,
please do. Obviously, I need it.
I think that a lot of times, like you in this circumstance, but a lot of times, all of us, like, we make things worse than they are. Like we think, like we think more negative things. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I talk to you almost every day. Well, no, I do talk to you every day. I'm never like, she sucks. Actually, I went somewhere 2 days ago and someone said, how does Bailey do it all? Like, I look at her and she is Wonder Woman. I didn't even tell you about this conversation. Sorry. She was like, she is Wonder Woman. I mean, look at her. She is a boss babe. Her kids are always so cute. I mean, she just looks like she's like really doing it. And her business, I mean, it's thriving. Like, look at her. And like, then y'all are launching this podcast. Like, wow, really? Like, how does she do it all? And I was like, she's kind of hanging on by a thread.
She's actually not okay.
I was like, she's kind of hanging on by a thread. And she's like, no, she's doing it. And she's like, and I am watching her do it.
Wow, that's so sweet.
You know, for someone like, she said that to me, and I know a little bit more, but again, I think the same thing about you. So
I'm really good at putting on a front sometimes.
But there we go back to like
what we see ourselves
as in the mirror, and what we tell ourselves, and the thoughts we feed ourselves every day.
And it's horrible.
Yeah. And then what Jesus sees us as, and who he created us to be, and what the truth is of what and who you really are.
And you're so right when you said like things to us feel so big sometimes. And like if I were to, obviously these are a lot of like things, puzzle pieces that have created this kind of burnout and stress for me. If it was just one of these things, I probably wouldn't be like spiraling as bad as I am. But also, like, sometimes you tell someone something and they're like, hey, whoa, that's not even a big deal. Like, calm down. Like, let's work through it. And you're like,
but to me, it is a big deal.
Like, it is. But, like, I know there are people going through way worse things and scenarios than this. But this is just, like, me being realistic about the fact of, like, anxiety, depression, stress. All of these things are so real, even within people who are not going through, like, a real struggle. So if you can relate to that, like if you even like you may not even have anything, but you're like, why am I still thinking these thoughts? Why do I still feel so heavy every day? Like I have a great job. I have a great home. I have a great family. Why do I feel like this? Like you are not alone. It is normal, but I will tell you that it is the enemy attacking you. So something I kind of was like thinking of when I was reading this morning, it was like, I was just thinking of like Jesus literally, like I could cry for what he did for us, but he carried that cross on his back, and think how heavy that was on his body. And like comparing all the stuff we say it's heavy and we wear it on our shoulders and all these things, like he did way more. And like if you can just imagine when you're struggling and when you're like, this is heavy, or I feel like I have a lot of weight on my back, like anytime you think that, I want you to like think about physical weight that he carried on his back for us, and the pain and suffering he went through for us to live these sins out and to live these moments out, to be better and to have an opportunity to be free on this earth. So,
but when that's happening and when we're feeling those things, like we need to think about that, because what we really need to do is turn to him.
Exactly. And he's like, hello.
In that relationship. Like, I'm here.
I'm here.
You're not listening. You're not looking up. You're not on your knees. You're not.
It's like.
Honestly, that was me the other day. I had my burnout, like my adrenaline finally crashed. I had been ignoring so many things.
That's the thing too. You do. You just start ignoring
things. Like even my laundry. Like,
oh God,
my laundry was clean, but it's in a basket, and like I haven't folded it, but I keep looking at it like if I just folded that, I would feel so much better. But like,
and you know it only takes 10 freaking minutes.
Yeah, but I'm
you're
like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's
So I just kept,
man.
Yeah, and then I just kept ignoring.
I just like get so worked.
Squirrel. I just kept like ignoring all these other things, and then finally, when I had to face all of it, I crashed. I had the adrenaline crash. I stayed in bed.
You freaked out. Like
if I didn't text you back, sorry. If I posted a little quote on Instagram and didn't text you back, sorry. But like that, I couldn't face anything real because I was so burned out.
You were numb.
I was numb.
Yeah.
Truthfully, if you're watching this, like you'll see when I feel like that, I feel like I'm laying in my bed and I am strapped and it is like so debilitating. That you almost like, you're so anxious that you start to feel sad and depressed.
It's
like,
weird. It is like it comes over you and you can't explain it. Like I was trying to explain it to Aaron the other day because I'm like, I don't know how to like get this out of my mouth, how I'm feeling, but it's not normal. Like I need you to know I'm not okay. Like I'm like looking at him, he's like, I know you're not okay. I'm
poor
like,
Aaron.
And
he's like, I'm just trying to put this place set together. I'm trying to change out your light fixtures. If I change out this light fixture, are you gonna feel better, Bailey?
It actually did help.
Okay,
when
great.
you changed out the light, but that was like bothering me.
But it was probably bothering you. Okay, little things.
Yes.
You could not stand walking into your new home and seeing this light fixture. You couldn't stand seeing that light fixture because you had 18 other things on your back.
And
that
was
the one thing you were like taking it out on.
And I could control it.
Right.
Like I'm like, we can change this light fixture.
But that's okay. So that's
now.
how I felt the other day. It was like I was so strapped and I was so anxious and I just was ignoring all the things because I was depleted. I was drained. I was not feeding myself all these good things, and something happened and I got so angry. And we were together and Bailey looked at me and she's like, please don't cry right now. And I'm like, how do you know I'm about to cry? And she's like, I can just tell your whole body language just changed. Like you're about to cry.
Yeah.
And I was so sad that it turned into anger. And I know that anger covers Trump's fear and sadness, right? So I got so angry and I was like, I'm just angry. And all I wanted to do was like curse and truly like say the F word. Like that was the only thing. And I was like, I'm going to church. It was on Sunday. And I was like, I'm going to mass. I have to go to mass. And not that I wasn't going to mass. I had planned on going all day, but I was like, why is it 3:00 and mass is at 5:00? I need to go right now.
I need to feel good. I need to feel good right now because I'm not feeling good right now.
No, and so when I was getting ready for mass, I had to start playing worship music because I'm like, something has to calm me down.
Something has to change in this
like,
moment, or I'm
something has to calm me down because if not, I won't even make it to mass.
Yeah.
Like that is at the point that I was, and honestly, I went and I was still, and it was the most peace. Like I'm about to start crying. I sat in church and I just was like, okay,
to feel the peace of the Lord.
Like, and I didn't want to leave. If I could have slept,
girl,
if I could have slept in that pew at church for the rest of the night, like
how
I
many
would have.
times I've thought that, like at church on Sundays, I'm like, like I could like breathe. I'm like singing. I'm like, oh, I'm listening to the word, and I'm literally thinking in my head, how can I be here more? Like, how can I get this like into my schedule daily?
And it's like when you go there or you take yourself, even if it's not a Sunday and you're not taking yourself to mass or to church or to any kind of service, like if you just sat and maybe listened to some worship music or maybe sat with your Bible or just sat in silence and reflected, meditated, prayed, whatever you need to do, it's in those moments that we're still and we're open and we're willing to listen, that we aren't thinking about the laundry that we have to do. We're not thinking about your closing date being changed. You're not thinking in that moment about the 17 other things you need to do when you're not.
It's just this overwhelming feeling of peace that Jesus gives us. And like, if you can feel that at church or when you're reading your Bible or when you're worshiping, like that is the energy he wants. Those are the good feelings he is giving us. All that other stuff is the demon, as Ezra would call him, the demon. But that is what it is. And it's like all that anxious, and like we always say, like the devil's working, the devil's attacking us, like the little things, all those little things like start to, like today, like I wake up and my mom's like, I am gonna come unpack your house for you while you're at work today. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, you don't have to do that, but like honestly, if you could just get my bathroom unpacked or like Goldie's room, like pick something, it would be such a great help. I was so excited. And then my babysitter canceled, and she's like, well, I'll watch your kids. but I can't unpack. And I was like, God, devil, you are attacking me. Like, I just wanted my mom to help me do that, because that, like we said with like the laundry, when your house is a mess, your mind is kind of a mess. Like, to just have some of the boxes undone would have felt like to come home to. And
just one room, because there's just a little bit organization, and there's no
you start to see, like,
there's no chaotic energy, right? Like, when things aren't where they're supposed to be. And this kind of goes back to us, when we are not where or who we're supposed to be, or who God created us to be, there is chaos all around us.
Noise.
You will feel chaos. You will feel sadness. You will feel a lot of negative things, when really you could be feeling peace and joy and calmness and a stillness, you know? And like, and even little things like one box being
right. And that's like, so when my sitter's sick, and I was like, oh, great. And then it's this like new, like, oh, I don't have a sitter today. I'm supposed to be at the work at the salon. I'm supposed to do like, and then when you're already anxious and stressed, like the little, like that shouldn't be like, it's all right. Like,
my mom can watch my kids.
People have to call into work even. Like, I can call into work. I have 3 children, but like, to feel like I'm failing my salon because I'm not there, because I have to be with, like, it all just starts the whole thing again. So it's like, if I could just find that like peaceful energy and just get to where I'm like, okay, like, because I was at a point before I got to this burnout that I could handle something like that.
Like, if that happened, you just like take it on.
I could be like, okay, great. So here's who I'm going to delegate this to. But like, the fact that I'm at this point made me like
there's nothing
freak
left
out.
Well, because there's nothing left of you.
There's nothing left.
And how do we expect ourselves to make decisions and do things and be our best self for everyone else when we're not taking care of ourselves?
Yeah, like yesterday when we had our meeting, was it yesterday? Whatever day.
2 days ago.
And
I don't know.
They were like, do you want us to pick the song or like whatever? And I was like, oh, great. And you just start laughing. And I'm like, no, I cannot even pick this.
I was like, you didn't even let him finish the question before you were like, yep, pick, huh?
He just offered, and I was like, amazing.
I really don't think I even like, he didn't finish the sentence. I was still like, intentionally listening, and you were like behind my shoulder, and I turned around and I was like, huh?
Oh
wait, you just responded to a question that wasn't fully... Huh?
And you're like laughing. I'm like, what? I didn't even like
because
know.
I also had a thought of like, yeah, I'll go pick the song, like, and because I was in a better space on
you were great. Thank God we're like on alternating schedules.
I was in a better space, and she just responded and was like, yeah, pick it. And I was like, wait a minute.
I was like,
I kind of wanted
amazing. Like before and y'all were both just like, what? I'm like, no. If someone's offering to like make a decision
for me, do it.
Like, great. Thank you for your help. Like, gosh.
And I'm like, no, I want to make the decision because I'm actually pretty bossy sometimes.
I know. Kristen's like, no, we can handle that. I'm like, I can't handle that. I literally can't handle that.
Because she couldn't. But I could. I was ready. I was ready to take it on. But that's why it matters also who's in your circle, who you're around, what you're feeding yourself, your mind, your body. Like, if you don't have... those people or that person that you can like pick up the phone and they can tell you like
support,
hey, it's not that big of a deal. Like, we're gonna figure it out one thing at a time. Like, let's make the to-do. Let's close a few tabs. Close some tabs. What tabs can wait? Let's open another browser and can that wait?
Like so true. Like even just saying that, I'm like, I need to close the light fixture tab because that doesn't matter. No. But like that is even bothering me. Like I need to replace those light fixtures. I need a couch. My house is empty. And I like joke about it, but really I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like
I'm such a to-do list person, and I won't put something like laundry on my to-do list, even though it probably needs to be on there, you know. But like,
it needs to be on there.
But I am such a to-do list person, and then I even had a call with someone the other day, and she's like talking about time blocking, and I'm like, I really need to learn how to do that and kind of like make a schedule and stick to it, but put what's most important at the top. Like, if you can handle something or whatever you really need to handle, like that is what you need to do. Put it at the top and work your way down. And you know what? If stuff at the bottom stays there for 2, 3, 4 days, because something gets put at the top of the list, like that is okay.
It's all right.
But it's all about how you handle it and how you approach it. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not gonna step with our best foot forward. We're not going to be able to handle those things in the way that we should. We're going to burn out. And if you don't recognize that your body is burning out and crashing, it will do it for you.
Yeah. And like, you can't burn out with 3 kids. Like, you can't. They don't know.
No.
They can't read emotions. They can't read, like, there's no opportunity
You can't
to
do what
that.
I did the other day. I burnt out and I stayed in bed until 3 p.m.
Right.
Like, Bailey,
like,
you could never.
I could never. I literally couldn't pee the other day without all three of them finding me and wrapping themselves around my ankles. And when you're anxious and stressed, like, moms, y'all can attest to this, like, you don't really get to feel that. You have to, like, bottle it in, and then you accidentally, like, snap on your innocent baby, and there's nothing worse. Like, you literally are like,
or your husband who's like, hey, I'm going to change this light fixture. How far down do you want it hanging? And you're like, I don't care.
Literally.
But I do care. But I don't
really care, but I don't have time to think about that. Can you just Google how many links are supposed to be in that kind of light fixture?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I'm, like, snapping
then
at
Aaron's
people.
like, cool.
How ugly. Like, that
and
is
you're
not
supposed
godly.
to be making, like, really good, joyful memories in this new home that you worked so hard to purchase.
Right.
And, like, you're starting off on the wrong foot.
Right, I know. And it, like, and my mom even was like, you just slow down and enjoy this. Like, this is, and I'm like, they're eating their first dinner. I take their picture because I'm like, I'm going to need this picture, but, like, I can't even, like, enjoy that. I can't even watch them.
You can't be present. You're
I'm
not present.
I'm not. So,
Ooh.
what I was reading about this morning in the Bible, obviously, like, when we were just talking about, like, you need rest, you need, like, that downtime, but it's not necessarily, like, rest as in, like, take a nap. It's rest with Jesus. Like, you have to be still, but
and
you have to be
open. You have to open your mind.
Yes.
You have to open your ears and you have to open your heart. And you have to be willing to take in, like, if you just are still and you block out all the noise, or you just have a moment, like,
right.
He will tell you.
Right. So this was just a verse that stood out to me. It is Matthew 11:28. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy burdens, and I will give you rest."
Wait, can you repeat that?
Sure, girl. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest."
Do it again.
Okay.
You messed up the words.
I did?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You're getting so ahead of yourself.
What did I say?
Carry heaven burdens.
Oh, I love heaven so much. I'm just
All right,
thinking
one more time. We're going to get it right.
The first time did I mess up?
Uh-huh.
Are you serious?
It's okay.
See, guys, this is an example. Like, I can't even read this. Like, that's how my bouncy...
Because you're jumping.
I literally can't even focus on...
Who bouncy ball you?
Okay. Y'all, the scary part is I feel like I'm reading it right.
Well, because you're reading it and you're digesting it correctly. But, like, if somebody is not looking at this and reading it, they are not.
Okay.
All right, one more time. We got it.
Third time's a charm. I'm nervous. I can't even read. I need to go back to freaking first grade. Is that where they teach how to read? All right. I always loved reading, too. Like, when they're like, who wants to read the next paragraph? Hand up.
You're squirreling. Read the verse.
Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest."
Amen.
Whew. Maybe y'all needed to hear that 3 times in different versions.
I think so.
But basically, he's saying, come to me. Like, when you're stressed and you're carrying these heavy weights and these burdens on your shoulders, come to me. I will provide that rest.
I carried a heavier one.
I will provide that peace.
I am listening.
Yes.
Be still.
Yes.
Be still and know that I am God.
Yes.
Like,
amen.
It is taken care of.
It is handled, and
I
will handle it for you.
I know what's happening next, and, like, guess what? You are gonna be okay. As long as you turn your eyes to me, you're gonna be all right.
And if
it's easier said than done. Like, I'm sitting here.
Oh God, it is. Are you
saying
kidding?
It, and
I just said God's name in vain. Sorry, Jesus.
3 days ago, you wouldn't have found me saying this.
No, but, like, again, thank goodness we're on alternating stress schedules. Because even though, like, I was definitely feeling this when I was talking you through your stuff, I was actually, like, able to, like, it felt good to, like, help someone else and just pretend I didn't have any problems. And I was like, she has all the problems. And I'm like, let me help her out. But no, like, I'm glad like, today your energy is the energy I needed, because clearly.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
That's
if
why your
you,
circle matters. Your people matter.
if
I
you
will
were
sit
like,
here and say it.
I know, a
Till the
million
end.
times till the end of time.
Yeah.
Because if you had someone in your ear that was like, "Ooh, yeah, that actually sucks. Like, are you okay?"
What are you gonna do? You're gonna spiral even more. You're gonna start thinking
Yeah.
it sucks, and like you are not gonna get to a better place.
If you are in a toxic friendship or a toxic relationship or have toxic family members, it is okay to remove yourself from that relationship.
And sometimes it's okay to just not respond. I've learned that about myself. Like sometimes I just have to be still. Like
Yep.
if I get a message, if I'm already anxious, I get a message, or if there's a group of people or a person or your family. Family's like the number one thing.
Yeah,
Love
it
y'all,
happens.
but
Love
y'all are
y'all.
stressful sometimes.
Love y'all.
You know, like if I get a message, like sometimes I just have to sit and I stare at it and I'm like, I can't respond to that right now because truthfully, if I respond, if I am not my best self, I am gonna respond and I'm gonna be ugly,
Short, ugly, or just like
snappy, and then it just doesn't.
It doesn't.
Back to this, it does not feel good. You do not
No.
feel like a better person, and sometimes it's okay to just like sit, have a moment, and be still, or it's okay to be honest about that. I
Right.
think that's something that like
I struggle with that.
yeah, and I think I did a little more until like recently. I have had to be very transparent about
Yeah.
that. And I told somebody on the phone last night, like I was like, I know you called me Friday. I told you I was gonna call you Saturday, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Sorry, today's Wednesday and I'm just now calling you back. Like I couldn't talk to you. I did not have the capacity. I was going through ups and downs. I was not.
Yep.
And she's like, "No, I totally understand." I'm like, "Look, I felt bad, and I was also carrying that too. I was like, I didn't call her back. She's gonna think I'm mad. Or she's gonna think I'm
And then
upset.
that's
She's
like
gonna be upset
heavy
with me
for days.
Yeah, but
and
it's
you're like, I
just-
should just text her and say, "Look, I'm gonna call you when." But then you're like, I can't say that. Like
Yeah.
it's so weird.
But I have learned that like I just have to be open and honest. And if people really care about you, they really love you. Like they
get
will
it.
understand.
They get it.
And
And
they're
if
like-
they don't get it,
they're not your people.
Sayonara. Is that what?
Sayonara. You went to go say sorry and sayonara at the same time.
Sayonara.
Yeah, sayonara. They are not
Sayonara.
like they are not your people, and
Adios,
that's okay.
amigos.
And that's okay.
Catch ya never.
See you later,
Oh,
alligator.
I'm getting everything mixed up, y'all. I really am like, I really don't have much brain
okay.
cells. It's
You
all
need
right.
to delegate. You need to ask for help, and
Yeah.
you need to just maybe go be still for a moment.
Okay. Well, that's easier said than done, but I promise I'm like, even just like moving forward, there's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? These boxes will get unpacked. I hired an incredible new front desk coordinator who is in training right now, and having some of those little responsibilities taken will just be incredible to have that help again, to have help with the children.
Like your kids are going to camp.
They're about to start a few
summer
weeks
stuff.
of camp. Then we have a trip planned. Like, there is light at the end, and like it is all gonna work itself out. I am aware.
Yeah, we're
But
blessed.
you know, sometimes you just gotta feel the feels.
Yeah.
Like,
But
even,
again, I think like you talking through that, you are putting so much pressure on yourself. You are looking in the mirror and you are saying, I am this, I am that, I am not this, I am not that, I am
Right.
failing, I am not doing great, I'm not my best self.
right,
And it's like you are putting that, but Jesus sees you and he's like, Bailey.
Bailey.
Even the girl that told me yesterday, like, how's she doing it all? Like, they are looking at you and seeing, like, you are a wonderful mom. You did great things and you worked your butt off. You and your husband worked your butt off to get this home, to afford this home,
Right.
to build your marriage strong enough to be able to do this for
Right.
yourself and for your family. You are an awesome boss. Like, you care about your people. Like,
I care about them so much.
yeah. And if you didn't,
Yeah, I really do.
right? And so like that is who you are. That is God. That's who God wanted you to be. That is who God says you are. That is who you are.
Yeah, I literally sometimes I'm like, can you just I wish I didn't care so much. I wish I could just be like a cold-hearted like, you can't come or you can't do. But like I can't do that.
Well, it's just
I
not
can't.
you.
It's not my heart, and it's like I always say like my big heart is
Is your
my best
big-
and worst quality
mhm.
because it's my best because I know Jesus like blessed me with this heart, and I'm like, I love to give, I love to please, I love to make people happy, and that's just who I am. But it's very heavy to carry that like feeling of like you're everyone's go-to girl, or you're everyone's like
Everything.
keeping everyone afloat, you know, like it gets really hard. And I think that's why like sometimes you just have to take a step back and just be like, okay, it's okay. And like you were just saying, like sometimes we hold this in and we just like get on stage and like put it on, and like why is it so hard to just admit like, hey, I'm actually not okay.
I need help.
I need help, or whatever that looks like. Like my mom texted me last night and she's like, hey, I know you're not okay. You're pretending everything's good, but it's not. Like, what can we do?
What can I do?
And I was like, oh shit, you saw through that?
Even if it's
like, damn, girl, I thought I looked pretty good until I snapped at you on accident. But like, I'm like, oh great, people are seeing through me. People are starting to see that I am falling apart. And what does that look like? Like, even like my sweet apprentice Haley, like she's always like, are you okay? What can I do for you? And I don't want her to think I'm not okay. Like, I'm supposed to be her leader. Nothing? I'm supposed to be her leader, but she sees right through me and she's like, you're having a lot of things. Like, a lot of things are happening. What can I do for you? And
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
I think what's great about being a leader is if you're open and honest about that.
I know, but also I'm like, my thing is I don't want them to ever think
that something's
they're
not okay
stressing me out or something's not okay or something's not, like, I don't want them to feel that anxious energy from me, because then I'm scared they'll start getting anxious, or they're going to be like, well, what's going on here? Is our boss a Looney Tune?
I saw something the other day, and it was about this guy, and it was just on leadership, so we can maybe like wrap it up with this.
Yeah,
but,
we'll add that in.
And maybe talk about it more later, but he was saying, like, okay, if on a Monday or whenever you have like a team meeting,
right,
you know, some teams will sit down and say, like, okay, over this last week, what has been problems, what has gone wrong, how do we fix it?
Right.
And you start with the negative, rather than saying, like, sitting down and saying, like, Bailey, what did you do that was awesome this week? What did you see someone else do that was awesome this week?
Yeah.
And if we just shift that little bit.
Right. That energy.
And just talk about, like, what we did that was great, what we did that was awesome, what you saw someone else do that was awesome, and then how to be better and build from that.
Yeah, because we know what we do wrong.
But why do we talk about it at our worst?
Right.
You know, like, and especially as a leader, like, you don't want to go in and, like, go crashing on, like, I'm pulling you into my office because you did X, Y, and Z wrong. Or, like, I have to tell you what went wrong, rather than starting with, like, let me tell you about all these things you did right. Yeah. And then here's a goal for you. Let's be better.
Yes. Like, it's all about, like, how you present it.
We just need to talk to ourselves like that.
Yeah, we do.
It's so much easier said than
done. Like, it's okay to be like, okay, hi, you're going through this, but you're really doing good here. And, like, please give yourself grace. Like, give yourself grace.
Ooh, grace.
Gosh, grace. Well, okay, so we're gonna wrap this up because I feel better. I'm just kidding.
I feel like I could sit here, though, for, like, 3 more hours.
Me too, but I did want to read, like, this little blurb. So if you are stressed or, like, going through this, like, burnout feeling, the book of Matthew does have some, like, really good... Ooh. Knock my mic over. Some really good verses and scripture that can, like, I mean, at least it calmed me down. So maybe going to read that. But I just liked how my little blurb in my Bible put this. So it says, one of the greatest problems of our culture is busyness. It undoubtedly contributes, I can't read, to everything from heart disease to poor nutrition to alienation within families. Sometimes we even pursue our spiritual lives at an unhealthy, breakneck speed. Although committed involvement in the ministries of the local church is good, Jesus reminds us here that he wants to give us not more busyness and stress, but more rest for our weary souls. Are you allowing your religious activities to rob you of the peace and rest Jesus intends? So I don't even think just within, like, your religious activities, but I feel like it can just be with everything in your life.
I think it's almost talking about religious activities as in, like, whatever you're making your routine.
Well,
like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like, are you sitting with all of these?
Is it becoming just busyness and, like, part of the routine, or, like,
are you being intentional with what you're doing?
Yes. And I feel like that's just with everything in life. Like, it literally says he's not trying to keep us and give us these busy, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, like, let's stress you out. Like, that's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
there it is, folks.
There
Burnout,
it is.
Busyness.
Burnout, busyness, and stress.
Just
it is
be
real.
Still.
Yeah.
Take a moment.
Give it to Jesus, because he will bring you rest and return.
Yep. And that's a wrap.